Minister of Foreign Trade Dr. Henry Jeffrey says the Caribbean single market and economy must be given the highest priority in the face of a global financial crisis. This was his charge as he addressed the opening of the 26th meeting of the Council for Trade and Economic Development. He also reiterated that the crisis indicates that the single market and economy must be key in the region's trade efforts. Here's more.
The crisis is global in its reach and is long-lasting. The minister was at the time addressing the opening of the 26th Quartet meeting. He says, in light of all this, the single market and economy must be on the front burner.
What the present crisis indicates is that the successful realization of the CSME must continue to occupy a critical place in our trade and integration efforts, and that it must be given the highest priority.
External trade relations, he added, will also be influenced by the crisis and cautions all resources will be needed.
With respect to both the negotiations and the implementation of agreements, the Economic Partnership Agreement will continue to occupy our region's attention for some time to come. The immediate priority is implementation to enforce the provisional application at both the national and regional levels.
The meeting will receive reports on the functioning of the Caribbean Development Fund, the Competition Commission, and how they can work to strengthen the CSME. Also addressing the meeting was Quartet Chair and Trade Minister of Barbados, Maxine McLean, who noted that the private sector must be fully prepared to utilize the region's international trade agreements.
If we are to move forward and reap maximum benefits of the EPA or any other trade agreement, we must first ensure that the private sector is well equipped and energized to take hold of the opportunities offered by these agreements. Outstanding matters in relation to the CARICOM Dominican Republic Free Trade Agreement signed in 1998 and the status and relevance of this agreement given the EPA will be examined here over the next 2 days.
The Canada-Caribbean Trade Agreement, the implementation of the EPA, the global financial crisis and the Caribbean Development Fund are key issues on the meeting's agenda. The two-day 26th ministerial meeting of the Council for Trade and Economic Development opened this morning at the Le Méridien Pegasus.
Human Services Minister Priya Manik-Chan says persons who are not pensioners and are collecting monies will be penalized. The minister says that she will have no reservations in ensuring those persons are put before the court. This comment was made on a visit to pension books distribution centers in Essequibo, where 50% of the books are already distributed. Pensioners are being urged to collect their 2009 pension book from the distribution center in their community.
This is the NCN 6 o'clock news. Well, consumers are now benefiting from the recent reduction in the price for flour by Namilco, but some bakeries are still not sure about their price for bread. Mark Murray has more.
People, they accept the price a lot. They like it. They like it. At least it comes at the time when Christmas time, you know, when there will be a lot of need for the flour more. So, but right now it's a bit slow, but that's because of the flour that they had in stock before. So next week things gonna pick up.
Some businesses have already begun to lower flour prices, and consumers are well aware of this move by the milling company, and as such persons are making full use of the situation at this Christmas season, given the fact that flour is a commonly used commodity. Meanwhile, consumers are advised that some major bakeries have not yet come to an agreement on a new bread price, and they are not likely to see a decrease in the next 2 weeks.
At this time, we haven't received any price of the bread being dropped or anything as yet. Customers are still asking. They haven't told us whether it will be dropped or not. We only read what the paper says at this time. The price still remains the same. I don't know when or if the bread will be really dropped as for now.
Up here, but we can't drop if the baker shop and drop because we're still losing. The bigger business have to drop first before the small man drop.
However, some bakeries say they did not increase prices at the time of the last rise in flour, so they will continue to operate at the current price. Mark Moore reporting for the NCN 6 o'clock news.
What is believed to be an act of envy has left 23-year-old Lachman Passod of 22 Better Hope South dead after receiving multiple stab wounds about the body. His reputed wife, Amanda Etwaro, and his 1-year-old son will now have to depend on a Passod's family for financial support. Nakasi Logan reports. A 25-year-old East Coast carpenter has become the latest victim of gunmen when he was shot and killed execution style while asleep. Police are searching for 2 men who reportedly shot and killed Vikesh Budram in his Follis East Coast Demerara home last evening. Here's our report.
Reports are that around 22 hours Sunday last, Vikesh Budram was shot in the neck shortly after retiring to bed with his reputed wife. Speaking to NCN today, the dead man's wife, Basmati Rambarose, says the man pounced on them unexpectedly while they were in bed. She noted that they were all lying on their bed in the upper flat of the 2-story wooden house when she heard a loud noise.
Me something palm me think funny thing when me jump up on the bed, me see my husband there so, and when he there so, me ask boy what wrong, and boy watch me son don't fall on, and then them get away and then me start to hollering, nobody come, nobody come. When me mother and say, Roma what wrong, me tell me like, my sister body run out, listen me no know who, and cause your boy there, and when then come blood me don't start drip up.
Rambarose says she called the police but no one responded and they only arrived at the scene after she hired a taxi to go and pick them up. When asked if her husband told her anything that may have caused someone to target him, the woman says all her husband does is go to work and come home and she cannot recall him talking about any problem. Meanwhile, the dead man's mother, Danmati Ganesh, says following the shooting, they started to call out for help but no one responded, presumably in fear.
Me come back in this room and me start holler because me go to the window and me holler out for neighbors to come no bad. Me come back at this front window and me call for the front neighbor and he come over. When he come over and me open the door and me run out till halfway on the road and me start holler and then 1, 2 people come out.
Ganesh, recounting her son's lifestyle, says he was never a troublemaker like his other siblings.
And they always quiet.
He was pronounced dead upon arrival at the Georgetown Public Hospital and police have recovered a spent shell at the scene suspected from an AK-47 rifle. It is not clear what the motive of the killing was, but no demands for cash or jewelry were made. Up to press time, no one was arrested and police are continuing their hunt for the assailants. Budram leaves to mourn his mother, father, 2 daughters, 2 brothers and 1 sister. He will be laid to rest on Tuesday. Edward Lane, the 6 o'clock news.